now I'm up here stood with you on your birthday.
I can't believe that you got a picture of me on your office wall. It's kind of weird.
I'm going to send it to you later. No,
We become mates, Chiro. You can take it down now.
But it's amazing. We watch you on TV. You've graced our TVs. And when I say a long time, I don't mean that in any way to say you're 59 now. But
it's 26
you
years.
are a stalwart of UK automotive journalism.
Yeah, and I'm very fortunate to be put in that position. You know, it's a really good story. I can tell you the story if you like. 26 years ago, I had a very successful car dealership in South London. Working with my wife, we were having a really good time and enjoying it. And I kept getting these sort of little rumours going around the car dealer network in London that there was this brand new TV show being made by Channel 4. And Channel 4 was only like 2 or 3 years old then. There was a brand new show being made called Deals on Wheels, and it was focusing on people buying and selling cars. And then I started to get little rumours from people saying that they're going out to dealers and asking dealers to be involved in making this series. And I thought, well, that's, you know, they don't come to me. I'm just flying at the moment. I'm buying and selling cars and I'm doing really well. And then I get a call from this lady. She phoned up about a Golf GTI, and I had about 8 in stock. She said, I'm phoning about a Golf GTI. I said, which one? She went, the black one? And I said, yes. And I spoke her through it, you know, big bumper, power steering, factory roof, BBS wheels. I spoke her through the car. She said, it sounds really good. Are you Mike Brewer by any chance? And I said, yes. And she said, can I come and see you about the car? And I went, yeah. She went, do you mind if I bring a camera? I want to video you. And that's when we had tape back then. And
that would be just normal nowadays. It'd be like someone's just turned up a camera.
Yeah, with a phone. Now you get a phone out there. And she said, can I come and film you? And I went, why? She went, well, actually, we're making a TV series. I went, oh, you're that lot? And I said, no, I'm not interested. And she went, oh, please. And I said, no, seriously, I'm not. Why me? Why? She said, well, we've been to lots of car dealers in London, and almost by default, every car dealer has said, you need to be talking to Mike Brewer. Wow. And I thought, wow, that's nice. You know, that the car dealer network said that. And then I said no. I said no to this lady. Her name was Celia Taylor. 2 days later, she appeared in the dealership. There was a Peugeot 205 1.9 GTI. It was Thursday, Exchange of Marts out, Auto Traders out. Amazing. I'm flat out busy. And the car was parked in the middle. It was a customer's car waiting to be delivered. And she turned up with this little handheld camera and she said, Mike, it's Celia, I need to film you, I need to film you. And I said, no. I said, I told you I'm not interested. And she said, I'm going to get fired. If I don't go back with footage of you, I'm going to get fired. And I said, oh, Jesus Christ, don't do that to me, but okay. She said, tell me about the 205 1.9 GTI. So I just splurted it out, you know, everything that when I'm trying to sell one, what I've told her in the camera, you know, 1.9 GTI, they deliberately tune the second gear in this car so it gets to 60 miles an hour quicker than a Golf GTI, so they could grab the headlines. It does 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds. Golf GTI 7.3 seconds. I went through all of that with her. Half leather interior, factory roof, you know, gunmetal grey metallic, all of that stuff. And she went, oh my God, you're amazing. And I went, well, that's great, but I've got to get on with my day. And then a couple of days later, they'd edit it together back at Channel 4. She phoned me up and she said, Mike, the bosses really like that video. And I said, well, I told you that I'm not interested. And she said, but they really like it and they want you to come along to a screen test. And I said, no, absolutely not. I'm really busy. I was really busy.
Really didn't want to do this.
I didn't want to do it. No, definitely not. No, I was really good. You know, me and my wife discussed it at length. Me and Michelle discussed it, and we just said there was no need. You know, I was already doing really well. So I just said no. So what I did offer them is I said, look, over the course of the next, when you're making this show, call me. If you need a hand in knowing whether to buy a car, sell a car, or what's the right car to feature or not the right car to feature, just call me. And over the course of the next 6 months, I had somebody from production at Channel 4 ringing me up saying, Austin Maestro. And I go, no, of course not. And then somebody else would ring me up and say, Mini. And I go, yes, of course, it's a great little car to feature. And that went on for 6 months. And then after 6 months, the phone went dead. And that was the end of that. And then in 1997, October 97, I was moving my sister into her house in Hastings. And the phone rang, and it was this Celia Taylor. And she had to remind me who she was. I'd forgotten who she was. She went, I'm the girl that come down with the camera. And I said, okay. She went, I've got some really good news. I said, what? She went, we've made the programme. And I went, that's great. She went, but now they've decided, rather than follow a car dealer in the programme, they want a TV presenter to link the programme. It's a completely different role. And I went, good. She went, we really want you to do it. And I said, okay, proper car dealer. I went, okay, how long is it going to take? She went, 5 days. We're going to record a show each day, and it's 5 shows, 1 hour long. And I said, okay, how much are you going to pay? She went, £200. And I went, it's a bit of a laugh. Why not? I'll do it. So I went along to this showroom in Catford, South London. They dressed it all up. They put these cars in there, and I just told these stories about people buying and selling their cars and linked it together. And little did I know, when that show went out on air in 1997, little did I know that by the time it got to its 3rd week, it was the biggest show in Channel 4's history at that point.
Wow.
And I then get a phone call from a guy called John Bentley at Top Gear. And John Bentley says, hello, I'm watching you on this programme, Deals and Wheels. I'm from Top Gear. We'd like you to come and join us at Top Gear. So I went back to Channel 4 and I said, I'm still a car dealer, I'm back at a dealership now. And I said, well, thank you for putting me in this position. I've got the BBC now want me to go and do a show. And Channel 4 went, absolutely not. We're going to commission another series of wheeler dealers, and we're going to let you come up with your own car show. So we then started to think about writing Driven, which was the bigger car show that I did for Channel 4 with Jason Plato and Penny Mallory. And James May was my first co-presenter on Driven. He got fired after the first year. Nobody liked him. It's quite funny. I loved him, but nobody on production liked him. And then during that period of time, I was in a 5-year locked sort of handcuff deal with Channel 4 from 97 to 2002, where I was making Deals and Wheels and Driven. And then in 2002, when my deal was ending, coming up to end, I was just being headhunted by ITV, by Channel 5, which was new then. I was being headhunted by everyone. But there was this tiny weeny little channel that had only been living for 5 years called Discovery Channel, that was doing gorillas up mountains and people digging for gold. And they took me out for lunch in this swanky restaurant in London, and they said, you can do what you like. We'll just give you your own car show. We just want to work with you, and you can do whatever you like. And me and a couple of other guys called Dan and Mike, we sat down and we wrote Wheeler Dealers. And it was actually called Grand Autos. Buy a car for £1,000, fix it up and sell it. That's what the original name was, Grand Autos. And then over the course of us writing down that first show, I had a business called Wheeler Dealers. And we decided to call it that. And little did I know that 20 years later, I'd still be making the same blooming programme.
How many series is it now of Wheeler Dealers?
It's 18 series. There's some really good facts about Wheeler Dealers. So it's 18 series.
Yep.
Hold your breath, because this isn't me saying this. This is television saying this.
Yeah.
These aren't my made-up lines. This is, go and look it up yourself. It's out there. In the world, there's 217 places that play television. So they're called territories. So there's 217 territories. Yeah. North America, Canada, France, Germany, Italy. Keep going, 217 times, and that's where TV is played. Wheeler Dealers is played in 211 territories around the world.
So you can tell me which 6 territories it's not played in?
Well, I think they're like really weird language territories where it doesn't translate. But it's translated in 211 territories around the world. And they stopped measuring because there's only about 8 territories in the world that actually measure an audience, and then they extrapolate up and they can work out what a TV show can rate as. And they've stopped counting beyond 200 million for Wheeler Dealers. Every time an episode goes out, it gets over 200 million people. So that it is, and they say it's the biggest car show on the planet and the most watched car show on the planet. And it's quite incredible for a little winnie show we put together in a pub.
I also love the reruns. So when they're on Dave and things like that,
the classics,
just back to back. And I see one that I saw years ago when it first came out, because for me it would be like either binge watch them or record them on Sky back then and then binge watch them sort of thing. But then when they come back on, I remember that, or something you particularly said about a specific car. And it's nostalgic in itself when you're rewatching those episodes. But those 18 series, do they include like the trading up ones you've done? Because you went over to Japan and you bought, was it the the auction you did in Japan, which was just bizarre the way that auction ran with all the screens and stuff.
Yeah, no, they don't include that. I wrote a series in 2004 for ITV, which was called Rex to Riches. It actually won an award. I won an award for that, Rex to Riches. It's where I met my best mate Nick, my cameraman, who sat at the back there. He was the cameraman on Rex to Riches with me, and he's been my cameraman ever since. So like 19 years, he's been my cameraman. And when I did Rex to Riches, that was about me buying a car for 200 quid and then flipping it 400 quid, 400 quid to 800 quid, 800 quid to £1,000, 8 grand to 2, 3, 4. And I ended up buying a brand new Rover and I gave it away in a competition on ITV, and that's what that series was. And then many years later, Discovery Channel said to me, you know the series, Rex to Riches, could you make it on a global scale? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, you're really popular here, and here. You know, India, Brazil, where do we go? India, Brazil, Mexico, Dubai, Australia, Japan. Could you make a series that involves all these territories? And I said, yes. And I sat down and I devised this series with our people, and that became Trading Up. And we did 2 series of that around the world. That was really successful, alongside making Wheeler Dealers. And it's the same for Dream Car, which is the series I made with Elvis, is effectively the same show,